That doesn't matter.
That doesn't do anything.
That does nothing.
Okay.
All
Silly
right.
for me to think that, yeah.
Not silly. I understand. I used to do the same thing like, oh, wait, no, that's not actually recording.
What kind of complete fucking amateurs are you making me work with? Sorry.
You're working with me. I am the amateur. You know this.
God damn it, that's true.
Yeah, I know.
Warning, this is an adult-oriented podcast about really perverse things like communication and consent. If you are under 18 and looking for answers to questions about sex or kink, please visit scarletteen.com. For the Dude Bro listeners, this is the nerdy shit. Fuck off!
From Bakersfield to Mount Olympus, Gotham Press talks naughty business. Sexual topics to explore your whoredom. Good if you're new or a kinky Yoda. Gotham Press Podcast. The dirty kinksters your parents warned you about.
Will somebody take the dog away from the microphone, please? Oh, shit, the dog laughed. I feel like I should be afraid. Hi, listeners. Welcome back to the Gotham Press Podcast. It's your captain here, Captain Awesome. Again, hosting you through these lovely seas known as kink and BDSM and just being a general nerd. I've got 3 people. I have a first-timer this time. We're going to get to him later. To my left, we have a guy looking at his phone, not paying attention. Introduce yourself, sir.
I'm Rob in real life, and on set, Robert if I'm in trouble.
Who do you get in trouble with?
Various people.
Are you in trouble today?
Not yet, but the day's not half over, so there's still time.
Okay, and in front of me I have...
Oh, Shockdoc.
I like how simple that was. Oh, Shockdoc.
Well, you asked. I answered.
This is true. I mean... Rob over there, he gave more. Hold on. Shock, give me a little bit more.
Good morning, Captain. How are you doing? It's 1 PM, so it's not really morning, so I've already screwed that up. So what else would you like?
Shock, you can screw up anytime and it'll be amazing. Podcast gold.
It's lovely to be back on the podcast.
We always enjoy having you here. Is this your second time this season?
Second time since, yeah, I guess so. So what do you count the start of the season?
November is the start of the season.
Yes, at least my second time, yes.
Wait, no. November? November, yeah, November.
Okay.
All right. And to our first timer. Hi there, good sir.
Camerawn, glad to be here. First time, yeah.
Camerawn?
Yeah.
Camerawn
Same
it is.
one, I don't know. I don't need the anonymity. I'm not important enough to need the anonymity.
You're not important enough for
Anonymity, yes.
Anonymity. See, I can say words.
Da-da-da-da. Anonymity. Da-da-da-da.
It's almost like Menomina, but close. Anyway, hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. I know at least a couple of you were last-minute draws because people just kind of dropped out, or I just took too long to get host. But I always knew that I can always depend on the illustrious Shockdoc.
I'm always happy to be here. You should actually tell me when you're having the podcast more often instead of hiding it from me, and I'll be here all the damn time.
Shock, I've told you every time when we record. Shock, when do we record?
1 PM on Sundays.
The first Sunday of the month.
Is it only the first Sunday of the month?
Yeah, we're only doing 1 episode a month right now.
Well, I haven't paid attention to that fact.
Shock.
Yeah.
For shame. It's okay. All right, so let's do this. And actually,
I mean, while life happens, I have to say some questionable decisions have already been made today.
Hold that thought for a second.
You hear the washing machine sound?
No, it's not that. Why did my recording just start over?
I don't know, but I hear a sound of running water.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. That's weird. Okay, so the timer is showing that it's recording, but the counter on here is only showing, it keeps repeating at 10 seconds.
Gotcha.
That's weird. I'm going to stop this real quick, and I'm going to see what happens. All right, listeners. I don't know if I left in that little snafu or not, but hey, guess what? We're back again. We've already done introductions. We got Cameron, we got Shock, we got Rob, we got Captain, and we also have some patrons. Oh, real quick. Mr. Cameron, did I send you the show notes?
Yes, you did.
Okay, I just want to make sure that you're up and ready for all this.
Yes.
Because it moves a little quickly sometimes.
Yes, I'm ready.
You're ready. All right, beautiful. That's what I like to hear.
Is anyone ever really ready?
I mean, I try to be.
Does anybody really know what time it is? Does anybody really care?
It's whatever time they're listening to us. That's what the time is.
Rob got the reference.
I got it too.
Yeah, okay, good. Excellent.
I am the uncultured swine of the podcast, obviously.
It's Chicago.
The musical?
25 or 6 to 4 is the song.
25 or 6.
Oh, yeah.
I love Chicago. That's why I'm really feeling like, oh, God, why am I failing at this? Yes, listeners, I do enjoy musicals.
Your mother probably heard it.
I don't...
No. It's not the musical Chicago. It's the band Chicago.
Ah, that's why.
Yes.
So, that's why. I know some Chicago songs. I don't know many, though.
It's not a deep cut. It's one of their most popular songs, Cap.
Yeah, this was basically an anthem that made a lot of radio play just slightly before you were born.
Just slightly? Mm-hmm. Obviously, it was before I was born. My brain could not comprehend that.
Yeah.
It's not like I listened to Sinatra at all or
The
karaoke that.
The world did not exist until I stepped onto the stage. And at that point, the curtain rose and the house lights came up.
So, listeners, you're hearing now, Shock is the maker of the world. Shock, are you King Jesus?
Oh, no.
You're not like Deadpool? You're not Marvel Jesus?
So maybe this podcast might be the inspiration for some people to look up Chicago or Peter Cetera.
Yes, listeners, please look that up, and you can always comment to the podcast on FetLife, the Gotham Press, and let us know what you thought of Chicago and who.
Peter Cetera.
Peter Cetera,
Former lead singer.
Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about some of our patrons here. Patrons, thank you for what you do for us. Your support helps us keep the mics hot and keep you entertained. If you want to join our patrons, that's on patreon.com/Gotham Press Podcast. And you can join that for as little as $1 a month. Every little bit helps us keep things going. But along with those lovely patrons, we also have some sponsors. Shock, you're a paddle guy, right?
I love a good paddle. I love a good receptive ass.
You love a good receptive ass. Don't we all love a good receptive ass?
Each to their own.
Teach their own. Well, do you know JW paddles?
Of course.
Of course you do. You and I have talked about JW paddles many times.
We've discussed J&W paddles numerous times because they don't just make high quality paddles, they make pieces of art. If you'd like something in your play bag that you pull out and everybody's head turns and you get to talk about it after the scene, J&W paddles.
See how good Shock is with this? Shock, you missed your call and you should have been on radio, man.
Well, I don't know what to tell you. The hours suck.
And if you know J&W, and if maybe you've been to the factory of the motherland, then you know the quality of work.
Hold on.
Made a pilgrimage to the motherland? Yeah, okay.
The paddle motherland, yes. Then you know their attention to detail and the quality of their work.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All of their Oompa Loompas smell like sawdust.
No Oompa Loompas. What would Willy Wonka say? All right, so we got the paddles there. Also, along with paddles, Thief's Touch, those floggers. My God. You say JW's a work of art. Thief, he's like stealing artwork and just like, here, have this and try it. I mean, the prices he sells it at is damn good pricing for what he gives you.
It's one reason I have no issue whatsoever recommending his stuff. He makes beautiful floggers. He'll stand behind it. You can pick them up and play with them at an event and see what you think. Well, I say play. I mean, sample them, hold them in your hands, check out the material, check out the quality of the work.
Yeah, and then be like, why isn't this in my bag already?
That's right.
Yeah. So what I will say, he actually, through a group of us, we had Poor Man About Town, Hidden John. Mm-hmm. His floggers that he had were not Thief's Touch floggers.
Entry level.
Lower than entry level. They were falling apart at the seams. Okay, do you remember Loki and the Spaghettification?
Yes.
They were like that. But through a group effort, we were able to help good old Man About Town out and get him 2 Thief's Touch floggers.
Oh, that's amazing.
Custom floggers in the style of Gojira.
Gojira.
Yeah, one was the Godzilla one, and one was King Ghidorah. And now that he has those, he and his girlfriend are making plans to probably do another one in that style. Much like all of the floggers that I have are Thief's Touch floggers. Mm-hmm. All my floggers are Spider-Man themed. I got Spider-Man, I got Venom, I got Carnage. Also, he just recently, I commissioned him, and he got me a couple of my first DC floggers, a couple of finger floggers in the style of the Flash.
They must be very fast.
Fastest floggers alive.
Fastest floggers alive.
Let's see here. All right, so moving on from those toys, let's move on to a woman that, just makes me feel certain ways. Makes every man that I know that has seen her feel certain ways. Carmilla the First. Man, she is...
That is a very attractive woman. Stand out in the crowd attractive.
The crowd forms around her. The crowd looks like, oh my God, is she real? Yes, she is. Listeners, if you have not taken a look at Carmilla the First OnlyFans page, you are missing out. You really, really need to get on there and have a look and become as addicted as many people are.
You're absolutely going to love her Ouija board.
Yes, that too. And lastly on our sponsor list, for those of you that have littles and middles in your life, have you ever thought, the pasties that are available in the stores just aren't working out because those pasties aren't for adult mouths. If you want a good custom pasty, go through Steel Brat Pasties. They make custom work. They talk to you and they verify what your little needs for their pasty. Any sort of design you want, as long as they can do it, they will help you out. So that's Steel Brat Pasties. Also, for everybody that has heard all this and I'm not going to remember all that, all this information will be in the show notes for every episode that we put up. If you really, though, want to just kind of sometimes give us a call, let us know that we're doing good, let us know how wet Shockdoc got you, you can always call Candy's sweet box to let us know. To do that, you just dial 805-303-1173. And Shock can even attest that Candy's box is quite sweet.
I can highly recommend. 5 stars, would eat again.
5 stars, would eat again. All right. Okay, with all the business out of the way, let's get on to the podcast.
Do we have anything to talk about at this last minute throw us together gangbang of a podcast?
I don't know. I do know that I had to reach out to people at the last moment because C. Splicer, who had said he was going to be here, unfortunately work got in the way. So I had to talk to a lot of people please help me. You're my only hope.
That explains the droid showing up at my house.
Yes.
And projecting a 3D image on the floor of the captain dressed as Baby Yoda.
No.
Reaching out to me. Desperate for me to save Alderaan.
I will 100% take Princess Leia over Baby Yoda in that.
See, I was going to say, you're lucky you got the Baby Yoda version of the message. I got Leia in the metal bikini version of the Yoda.
Leia, Captain.
Cap, you're a good-looking guy, but the metal bikini was not complimentary.
Thank you. I appreciate your feedback on that. Fuck you. Listeners, if you weren't aware, we are recording on May the 4th. So, as always, May the 4th be with you.
And see, I got old, tired Yoda showed up at my door and he's like...
Yeah.
Need you, we do. Bad, questionable decisions have been made.
Podcast you must.
Podcast you must. Oh, hey, Rob.
Yes.
You had an event here recently. What was that?
I did. I had a Spank Slot. That is happens typically the first Friday of the month, although sometimes we have to work around some schedules. But that is an event where you can come out and learn to spank or practice your spanking. And so it's somewhat of you can bring a partner, but you can also do some pickup spanking. So you might find someone to spank you or get spanked by. And if you have any, if you'd like to know more about spanking and more techniques, that's a place to come and learn.
And an opportunity to practice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. What was the subtitle of this month? Spanks a Lot.
Well, shit, it's 2 days ago. I don't remember now. I have to,
Something about May the Force or something.
Oh, may your ass feel the force or something.
May your ass feel the force of this spank or something like that.
Whatever it was completely unforgettable.
Completely unforgettable. And what's the thing that you say when you don't want to get sued by somebody? It was I can't remember now. We don't want to get sued by Star Wars.
Any resemblance or likeness to anyone living or dead is purely coincidental.
Yes, that ass being super red like that did not happen in Star Wars. So please don't sue us.
That's the wrong Star Wars. Star Wars XXX. I think there was a lot of red asses.
We'll consider that the buttocks disclaimer.
I think that was the body paint for the Twi'leks. Twi'leks.
Oh.
Yeah. No, I don't watch porn. I don't know what you're talking about. I would never watch nerdy porn. Who does that? Hey, let's talk about some other stuff. So, I just saw Thunderbolts yesterday. I know it's recent. Did anybody see Thunderbolts at all?
I have not got an opportunity to watch it yet. I plan to.
Not yet. Rob?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so I will be going through with a very light, spoiler-free review from me. It starts off in your general Marvel fare. It's like, okay, this is average Marvel movie. Enjoyable, but not, groundbreaking. And then as the movie progresses, it's like, okay, more Marvel. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my God, why did you just hit me in the feels? Why am I sitting in this chair in the theater crying right now?
Did your lighthearted superhero film involve emotions?
I did not expect this movie to involve emotions.
That just seems rude.
Sir, I know the Thunderbolts as characters in the comics. There's none of them that I would think like, I got feelings for this thing. No. Now, what I didn't realize, I knew of the character, because this is not a spoiler because it's been shown in the trailers. I knew of the character Sentry, but I didn't know about Sentry.
Right.
The only time I've actually seen Sentry in a comic I was reading was during the World War Hulk series, where they called Sentry in to basically stop Hulk. Sentry is Marvel's version of Superman, but
with a little less stability.
More than a little, a lot less stability.
So you're saying he was not raised by Ma and Pa Kent?
He was not. Oh dear God, no, he was not. But overall, I enjoyed it. Like they brought back in. Let's see, who they got? Red Guardian. There we go. Who is the Russian version of Captain America? Mm-hmm. They got Yelena, who was Black Widow's sister.
They have Ghost.
Ghost made an appearance back in there.
Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier. Don't you mean Congressman Barnes?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes. If you saw, what movie was that?
Captain America: A New
World.
Yeah, New World.
New World. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that was the one. You see that Bucky is a senator now, or a
Okay,
congressman.
so that was
now.
a surprise to me when you made that senator joke.
Congressman.
I believe he was running. Because I watched this again a couple of days ago, and I believe he was running for Congress in that movie,
and he did win.
Spoilers, dude.
Light spoilers. But what I'm going to say is this: if you enjoy Marvel, definitely go see it. If you enjoy Marvel and you have any sort of feelings about depression or anything like that, go in prepared to shed some tears. It's almost as bad as Guardians 3.
Oh.
Yeah, I knew I would get somebody with that.
No, man, no, not that.
Yeah, it's on that level, but just a different side of it. It's like, whew.
Well, that's a sign of good writing.
Oh yeah, like 100%. Yeah. Again, did not go in expecting that at all. The whole movie, I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. I'm enjoying this. This is fun. Huh? What? No. Oh God.
I don't know, Cap. I cried when I watched Wonder Woman 1984, but it was mostly out of a disappointment for the franchise.
This I was not disappointed in. No, I understand that. The Sony trying to make a Sinister Six universe, that made me cry.
Well, they got a good Vulture.
They got a good Vulture in a Marvel movie.
They got a good Vulture. Now let's just build 9 characters around him.
You don't need 9. You just need 5 more. 5 more was all they needed.
They had a good Rhino, and they didn't call him back for the next movie.
That's because the fans all complain that that's not our Rhino.
Paul Giamatti?
I would have liked Paul Giamatti as a
I
Rhino.
would,
absolutely.
Yeah. But
Plus bring depth to this character?
there were so many, like, I remember reading online so many people like, that was a dumb Rhino. Rhino doesn't have a mech suit like that. Rhino has a regular suit that, grafted to his body. I'm like, just enjoy the movie, people.
Well, yeah, but we also watched multiple movies with, Dr. Zemo, right?
Zemo, yeah.
Yeah. And his mask wasn't grafted to his face. He wore it for like 7 seconds in one scene.
Yeah, that's true.
And I didn't hear anybody bitching about that.
Well, that's because that was a series. That wasn't a... well, no, he wasn't in the movie first. Never mind.
Yeah,
I was
Civil War.
thinking
He was
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I mean, not to give spoilers, but he was the big bad in Civil War.
He was. And he made things get real fucked up real quick.
No purple mask.
I mean, eventually. Eventually he did.
Yeah, by the way, can I throw out a movie trope that's starting to piss me off?
Go for it.
Okay. You put your hero in his suit. He has a full face mask or a full face helmet, and he breaks into the facility where all the cameras are, and immediately the helmet goes away.
Yes, I broke in.
3 seconds of fighting, and now the helmet goes away, and I'm like, you might want to keep that protective gear.
No, please figure out exactly who I am with all these cameras and photography things. What I found funny, Born Again just came out this year for Daredevil. To get prepared for that, I finally watched the last seasons of Jessica Jones and The Punisher.
Okay.
I loved the joke in Jessica Jones where Wildcat, she's trying on different outfits, and she tries on her comic accurate outfit. It's like, no, I would not be caught dead in this. I'm like, yeah, I guess back in the day, no. Not back in the day. Back in the day, it was fine. Like, yeah, we can be super wild. We're comic book characters. You come to real life, the fuck is that? Ma'am, are you okay? Especially since the character is like really big on fashion. So, yeah. Though, notably, if she'd have worn that, nobody would figure out who she was. Like, she would never wear that.
But you guys brought up the fact that that one character is kind of like a really messed up version of Superman. But I think that's more relatable, and I like that more in characters because, all right, I'm a little bit older, and I know Shock and I have had these conversations before about like the TV Batman and how goody he was, never broke a rule, anything like that. You get to build Superman.
TV Batman, look.
I know, but you got
no. Kevin did not give Batman's voice anything like that, okay?
But like, and if you watch the TV Superman and Clark Kent was, again, people aren't like that. Even like the best person has.
Smallville was just like that, sir.
All right, maybe Smallville, but I mean that's the thing is I think nowadays, and so like I myself not read comic books, so I know the newer. When I say new, I know they've been out for like 30 fucking years now. But
30?
Again, all right, when I'm like over 50, so newer versus the 1970 Batman, right?
I know
that Dark Knight just goes in there kicking ass, killing people, taking out people. Versus the TV Batman would have never done that.
Well, one thing I couldn't grasp as a child watching Batman, because I loved it, and I was a very small child, was it was just played for gags. It was just it was 3 years of running gags, and it was so popular when it came out, they were making and producing and releasing 2 episodes a week, right? So they had a lot of content, which does not make for a lot of good stories. But yeah, it was all a bunch of gags, And then the problem with the 1950s Superman TV series, well, he has all the powers and all that, but he's also sort of that goofy golden age character a bit. And the TV series is the adventures of Lois Lane, and occasionally Superman shows up.
Occasionally.
So that, and that was very much frequently how all of their plot lines unfolded was, absolutely, Lois, you don't go in there. Come on, Jimmy, we're going in there. Well, guess Superman's got to save the day now, Jimmy. And that was the entire fucking plot.
I mean, he needed a reason to go in there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, real quick. Speaking of Superman, thoughts on the new Superman coming out later this year?
Oh, I can't wait to be in the theater and watch it and then just cross my fingers that it's going to be engaging and entertaining and well done.
See, I was under the misconception that crap, what am I thinking? Why am I blanking on his name? The guy who's playing Guy Gardner. Mm-hmm. I didn't realize he was playing Guy Gardner at first. I thought he was playing a villain of some sort. I'm looking like, I don't know if this character is a villain. I got to figure out who this is. And somebody was like, that's Guy Gardner. I'm like, it is not Guy Gardner.
You don't see him walking by and throwing up the force field in
the ring.
In the really quick flash scene as they're going by.
And I saw it, but it just didn't click in my head.
I just didn't recognize him as who he was because that wig is so bad. I now know that I can put that wig on and rob a bank and no one will recognize me.
Shock?
Yes.
I understand that money is tight for everybody in the world. Don't go robbing banks. Right. I understand that money's tight for everybody in America. The world's fine. America's just, we're in the shits.
Well, for to believe anything for movies, all you have to do is put on a mask and they'll never figure out who the fuck you are.
This is true.
I mean, let's go back in time. The Lone Ranger. All you had just a little eye cover. That's it. No one knew who he was. Batman and
no one will ever recognize that jawline.
I was like, Robin, Nightwing.
The list can go on and on and on, but like
so many characters.
Yeah. Well, remember the original concept of that was we were trying to get 8-year-olds to spend a nickel. So you didn't need a really good plot mechanism to convince an 8-year-old that putting on a set of glasses hides Clark Kent from being Superman.
I thought they explained that he had like some aura that stopped people from recognizing who he was.
Well, there's probably been a million explanations.
Probably.
I'm still looking for someone to dig. I mean, we have gotten off our Marvel movie topic, and I can't wait to see Thunderbolts. This thing looks like an enormous amount of fun, but I'm still waiting on someone to explain to me in the Superman most recently released Superman series, right? Man of Steel, followed by when he is about to take off and you realize that the pebbles on the ground around him are floating in his presence. I need an explanation.
Why the
same thing in Batman v Superman? If you watch the after scene credits?
Yeah, they're floating on his grave.
On his grave. You knew he was in there because you see the pebbles start to rise physically in the air. Yeah. Okay, well then, does he have special powers?
Shock, I've seen this explanation that Superman's powers aren't necessarily like super strength, because how does he pick up a jumbo jet from like straight in the middle of the jet and it not bend in half and snap in half and drop all the people?
Puncture right immediately through the aluminum skin. Yes.
Exactly. He has the ability to affect reality around him. That's how super strength works. That's how laser vision works.
And that's how his ability to fly
manipulating whatever molecules and particles he is at an atomic level. That's how he's able to break all laws of physics.
So then, is he really flying, or is he manipulating the world around him to move?
Well, see, I think it's not unlike the concept of warp theory, where what we're doing is we're not flying the spaceship, we're folding space around us and just stepping through the fold. And in a sense, I think that's what it implies that he's doing. Yeah.
So maybe Neil deGrasse Tyson, if you listen to this, maybe you can follow with the explanation.
No, he's so fucking sick of the questions like this. No.
He probably is.
He's very short-tempered with fanboy questions.
Here's my thing. I'm sure he's sick of the questions. He's not sick of the paychecks.
No.
Oh, no. Hey, Cam.
Yeah.
We got into a bunch. Any comments for you on Thunderbolts or comics in general?
I have not kept up with Marvel a whole lot recently. Gosh, I don't even know what to say. What was the last thing I watched? Like Moon Knight was the last thing I watched.
Oh, wow.
Great series.
I mean, I liked Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That was good. Do I need to see Strange New World? Anybody tell me? Do I need to see Strange New World? Or
Captain America, Brave New World.
Brave New World.
It's actually good. It's
do
good.
I need to see Brave New World before Thunderbolts?
Fantastic. Yes, you should. You absolutely should. And the other one you need to watch, and it's not that good a movie, is the Black Widow movie.
Okay, and I have seen that one.
Because all of the characters a bunch of the characters that are going to show up, their backstory is built in Black Widow.
Yes.
Yeah. Which I still will argue this till my face is blue. Why did they push back Black Widow? Why didn't they just release it when it should have been as far as the timeline's concerned? It was dumb to do that.
Yeah. Henry Cavill should still be playing Kal-El. So, there's decisions I wouldn't have fucking made.
Well,
either way, we got to see Scarlett Johansson in a skin-tight suit. So it's still a win.
High five.
this is true. No go team venture for that one.
In that original Avengers movie where she's standing in front of the cage that they have Loki in, and she's interrogating him, but he doesn't know it. And you're in the IMAX screen, and you're like 3 rows back, and you're just staring up at her leather-clad ass. And then I think there's some plot. I think there's some plot points that happen in that. Yeah.
Shock, tell us how much did you pay attention to the movie?
It's in there somewhere.
It's in there somewhere. Okay. So, staying on Marvel for a bit, Captain needs to rant about something. I put this in the show notes, and I asked you guys. So let's do it for posterity. How many of you knew that Ironheart was coming out next month?
Not I.
I did not.
Okay. How many of you know who Ironheart the character is?
Not I.
Not I.
So I did watch the second Black Panther. I knew that Ironheart was in there. Did they even call her Ironheart in the movie?
No, because she didn't have the name yet.
Okay.
She's just Riri at that point.
Okay.
But Ironheart is basically the new Iron Man after Iron Man, something befalls him in the comics. So she's super smart. She's a black college student. And she makes her own version of the Iron Man armor.
Right.
And when Tony gets better, he comes back and he helps her to, hey, make it a little bit better, do all this stuff. It's funny because she's like, I don't really need your help. I've done this on my own.
Did she explain at some point to another character that Tony Stark built one of these in a goddamn cave using scraps?
No, that was a different character.
I'm just curious.
that was a different old white guy.
No shortage of those.
No shortage of those in Marvel. But here's the problem with that. So we have this character who is a person of color who's going to be heading their own series. Mm-hmm. And when I looked for a trailer, the only trailer that I could find was one from last year at D23. And it's not even like the trailer itself. It's somebody recording from their phone at D23 of the trailer showing on the screen. It's like, why? Why Disney? Do you?
So in the subtext being that in this day and age where the government has turned the legal forces against people of color and marginalized groups, do you believe Disney pulled it for that reason?
I believe that Disney not even pulled it. They just aren't putting anything behind it.
Yeah.
I was looking at something else that actually kind of gave me a bit more context on this. Think of Agatha All Along. Mm-hmm. With Agatha All Along, how much promotion did they do with that? Everybody knew that was coming out, right?
I certainly did, yeah.
Yeah, everybody knew that this series was going to come out. Everybody was like, oh, yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to be amazing. All of this hype. And I don't even remember how long ahead of time they did that for Agatha All Along. I enjoyed Agatha. That was a great series to me. Mm-hmm. Why aren't they doing that for this? I mean, how many of their series... here's the other thing. I knew Thunderbolts was coming out. I didn't realize that it came out on Friday until Wednesday.
Yeah, same week.
Yeah. So at this point, are they just is Marvel just saying, we're just going to... We'll get behind our big tentpole summer movies, but we're not going to worry about anything else in the year?
Well, and maybe they're saying that they don't have to worry about those big tentpole... Or, no, they don't have to worry about the smaller stuff like Ironheart and Thunderbolt because they know people need to watch all the Marvel movies, quote, that...
To get everything in line.
Yeah.
And I get that. I do, but again, had I not saw something randomly that said, oh, Ironheart's going to be coming out next month, I would completely space on it. I would have been like, oh, well, I guess nothing good is out. I'll find something to watch. And then, let's say I come to 2-3 months later, oh, shit, this is out? This came out?
So are you implying this is Marvel or Disney?
I'm implying that, well, at this point, they're one and the same.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. The final vote on everything is Disney.
But and I mean, I would happily buy into this concept because that wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But also, they stopped advertising Morbius before it released, and it proved to be terrible.
It was terrible. Yeah, it was terrible. And then they re-released Morbius. They released Morbius twice. It was a terrible movie the first time, and they thought, maybe a second time will be better.
But it had the meme staying power. Everybody was like, "It's Morbin time." That's what he says in the movie, right?
Yeah.
That's why they re-released it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, people will go see this again, right?
It picked up some pop culture points from people just poking fun at it.
Yeah, that doesn't always equate to box office numbers.
Really, I think the test here will be if we watch the series. I'll watch the series. And we go, God damn, this is good. We'll go, okay, yeah, this was a shitty decision. If we watch it and realize, oh, this is boring, then you can go, okay, they figured this was a flop and they gave up before they really put any extra money into it. But
okay, and I'll give you that. That could very well
be. They certainly promoted Andor enough, and Andor is a terrific series. Just absolutely terrific.
One day I'll watch it. Don't worry, you and Man About Town and other people are staring at me every time I say I haven't seen Andor.
Yeah. But no. I'm not giving you crap about it. You get a lot of stuff to watch. There's a lot of media out there.
Oh, God, yes, there is. Yes, there is. I started a new anime series. I'm like, okay, I'm really into this. Oh, shit, I got this other 15 things I need to finish, too.
Well, my opinion is you're accusing this giant mega corporation of really shitty things. Yeah, I'm on board with that. Sure.
Yeah.
That's not that hard for me to believe. But, like I said, when I watch it and go, is it terrible or is this actually a pretty good product? And, yeah, they should have been advertising the crap out of this like they would anything else. I think that's really going to do more to form my opinion about it.
I'll wait till it comes out and then I'll revisit it at that point to see what my opinion is.
I did find not somebody filmed it from the audience version of the trailer. I found the actual trailer that they released. And, that original first trailer, and mostly it looks like cutscenes from a video game. Yeah. It's not really well done. So maybe they just got a certain distance into this product, and they just went, this isn't working. Let's stop throwing money at it. Because that is a decision people will make with media products, no matter who's behind it.
I get that, but then that also comes back to everything else. Like, oh, well, we'll reshoot this, and we'll recut this, and we'll rewrite this, and all these things that they do for so many of the properties. So many.
Was I believe the star of Batwoman was a woman of color as well, wasn't she?
Was.
Yeah. And DC they just basically made that movie disappear.
Well, they made the entire movie to make a tax write-off, which is shit in itself.
Yeah, it is.
Theaters do better. Not theaters. Studios do better.
Let's say Disney do better. I mean, and here's the thing, like
not just Disney, all the studios. But
yeah,
continue.
Yeah. But I think to maybe look at what Disney. They're a huge company, and they've taken on so many things. They pretty much own Star Wars, but they own all those other stuff now.
Well, they've owned Star Wars for years now.
Yeah, but I'm saying, when you're putting out all these different movies, and you can't. I don't know if you. Financially, it's feasible to push all of them. However, Disney has been shitty for decades. I knew people who worked there years and years, decades ago, who they would work 24 and a half hours just so that if they worked 25, they would have to get paid benefits. So Disney has been doing shitty things. You mean
they capped off their week at 24 and a half hours?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's not anything new. That Disney would do shady things.
Though I'm gonna suggest if anyone out there has recently taken a family of 4 to Disney World for a week, when you explain to Rob that they're making some decent money on that place.
And that's the shitty part is that's shit like their corn dogs like $12 now. For a hot dog. No, I think it's the best corn dog ever.
Captive fucking audience.
Did you say now?
Yeah.
Sorry, they've been charging. Your firstborn for many years.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's like a number of years ago, I thought about taking, hey, we've been to Disney in a little while. We looked, all right, we live in Southern California. You can get a discount if you buy 3 days. We figured by the time you get by food, hotel, we're going to spend like $1,200 to go to Disney for 2 days. We went, there's another time we went to San Antonio for less.
Yeah.
And that's one of the problems. Now, Disney keeps making money, so people keep going. So they're not hurting for money. I get it. Another part, I'd say, you know what, the success of Black Panther, and if these other movies fall into that same category line and of everything, I think they are stupid for not promoting it more. And even like when you go to Star Wars and they didn't make any Rey action figures, even though she's the main character of a couple of those.
Girl
and
action figures don't sell.
Well, and that was the thing, is like I think they really screwed up that one.
I think it depends on whether or not their skirt is blowing up in an anime pose. Honestly, because those seem to be selling fine.
Let me rephrase my statement. Girls don't buy action figures, Shock.
Yeah.
They buy dolls.
Well, not as many. You know as well as I do, that's no absolute.
Yeah, I'm aware of that. I'm just saying, as far as a corporate standpoint, you can't sell action figures to girls. Yeah. Cam, you like you have a thought?
No
thoughts?
No thoughts. Head empty.
Okay, we'll get off of the Marvel high horse now. Let's see what we got. Oh, what is my phone doing? My phone updated, and it's been just doing strange things for the past couple of days. Let's see. Star Wars. It is Star Wars Day, right?
It is May the 4th.
It is Star Wars Day.
It is Star Wars Day.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th.
Followed up by Revenge of the 5th, right?
No. Followed up by Cinco de Mayo. It's Revenge of the 6th.
I was wrong. Okay.
So what you do
No,
is...
it's Star Wars holiday. What movie is Cinco de Mayo from? I don't remember that.
Episode 5.
Okay.
That is not...
That's the one on Hoth.
No, the way I've always explained to people, yes, we have May the 4th be with you. Then you have Cinco de Mayo. And then everything you do on Cinco de Mayo, you get the Revenge of the 6th.
I mean, I'm planning to eat a lot of chips and salsa. I don't know about that.
I mean, you are planning to eat a lot of chips and salsa. There are other people that are planning to do that, plus drink, plus lots of tacos, plus lots of things that it's just going to play war with their intestinal organs.
Street tacos are dangerous, people.
They're not dangerous. They're lovely things. So down in...
Cilantro is the devil's weed. Keep going. Go on.
So down in Anaheim, the home of the L.A. Angels, they had a drone show to recreate Empire Strikes Back. I actually watched like the video for it. It actually looked really fucking cool. I am impressed by the fact that they got all that going as well as they did. Like, I love how they had like different angles for things. They had a drone like in the sky actually flying, watching things for people. But when they showed the angle from down in the stadium looking up, it looked just like the characters.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit. Can we just watch from here? Quit showing me all the things happening in the sky.
What they can do with those things is very impressive. I did notice in that video clip, there is a lot of editing where they took out all the sort of slower portions where you're waiting for the drones to, reorganize and get to the next
scene.
Call it a scene. So they whacked a lot of that stuff off.
Of course.
So I think that in person it's a little less
oohs and ahs.
Well, no, actually it's probably just a little less captivating because you end up with these periods, these lag periods in between. But yeah, no, I mean the actual effect in and of itself, where you can see a 3-dimensional head look at you and turn and rotate and maintain its shape. That's all pretty goddamn impressive, really.
Yeah, you see Darth Vader looking down at you from the sky. Shit done fucked up.
That Denver explains why he was always middle management, though.
You're right. Yeah, Darth is middle management. So would that make Darth? What's his name from The Office? Michael
Scott.
Michael Scott. Yeah. Would that make would Michael Scott be Darth Vader?
I think Darth Vader is somebody from HR that comes in to fire you, but instead of firing you, he just strangles you.
So Toby?
Yeah, Angry Toby.
Darth
Vader is Angry Toby in a suit.
One of the best memes is shout out to the guy calling Darth Vader's religion bullshit right in front of him in a work meeting,
God. Yeah, and he understood the error of his ways. Actually, I'm sorry. I think Dwight would probably be Darth.
I could see that, yeah.
Dwight would definitely be Darth. So that would make Michael Palpatine. Yeah. It's all fitting now.
Palpatine isn't a corporate CEO. You figure he's out there in an office just down the hallway?
With the bullshit that Michael pulled, he's Palpatine.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, let's see. What else we got? Past the drones. So, Cam, I know that you play a little bit of this game called MTG.
MTG. It's not called that. It's called Magic the Gathering.
I apologize, sir.
Okay.
Wait. Isn't there supposed to be more emphasis on the Magic the Gathering?
Magic the Gathering.
Right.
Magic the Gathering. Oh.
Some
I
people in the
apologize.
community don't like MTG
Really?
because it's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Okay, I
They
can
don't like that
understand
MTG.
Sorry.
Shock.
Yeah,
Are you okay?
that's an awful woman.
Will you survive?
The worst of America promoted to the top.
Isn't that most of politics right now?
Currently, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, I took us off topic.
It's
Go.
okay. So, I was shown this, and I was like, oh, apparently Magic is getting some new cards. Now, I haven't played Magic actively in so many years, but I saw they were getting a Final Fantasy set and a Spider-Man set.
Now, you say you haven't played Magic actively in years.
Many years.
I don't know if I can be an expert. I haven't played Magic actively in a day or two.
So it's all starting to slip away, is it?
Yes.
just a day or two.
Just a day or two.
So what you're telling me is you were part of it's called Friday Night Magic.
Friday Night Magic, yeah.
Friday
in town,
night.
I organize at one of the shops here.
Okay, very nice, very nice. So I watched a couple of videos. What is this whole Commander thing? Because when I was playing, there was no such thing as a Commander.
So Commander is a fan format that I think got an official recognition by the company Wizards of the Coast in 2013. But before that, it was just a fan format. People were playing with extra cards they had after whatever other tournaments. It's kind of unique because it's 4-person free-for-all. Sometimes you can go to 5 or 6, but then it gets a bit chaotic. But it's not like the normal card games you see for like the other Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! And stuff like that, where it's one person playing against one person. It's a bit more social.
How you say the normal card games, and you say
Normal card
and you
games.
say Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. Like, depending on the age of person you ask, that's not a normal card game, sir.
The other more common card games.
Gotcha. Okay, so have you looked into either of these sets?
So Final Fantasy and Spider-Man are the sets you're talking about?
Correct.
Yes. They've shown some cards for Final Fantasy. They've shown maybe a dozen cards or so.
Okay.
For Spider-Man, they've shown only like 6 or 7 cards, something like that. It's part of their Universes Beyond campaign they've been doing for a handful of years.
Okay.
Universes Beyond is their, I don't know, title for bringing in other intellectual properties into Magic the Gathering.
Okay, so when I hear this, my first thought is, are they trying to do like Fortnite did and just like bring in random skins for things?
Fortnite, the card game, is what a lot of people are kind of comparing it to. They're saying they
so-
don't like that they're losing their original magic essence. You know, it's not going to be wizards and creatures that are summoned and stuff like that. It's going to be Spider-Man versus SpongeBob versus whoever else is at the table.
Wait. Did you say they're going to bring SpongeBob in?
There is already a card with SpongeBob on it.
No. Why?
Money is the short answer.
Okay.
It's not my money, though.
I
not
think
making
money
any
might be
off
the
this.
long answer, too.
Yeah.
Money is
Money.
Yes. So yeah, as you may have been able to tell, I've never been a big fan of SpongeBob. SpongeBob came around and I was like, okay, I watched a lot of dumb things when I was a kid. That's a little too dumb even for me. And I've had people that are younger than me like, how can you not like SpongeBob? I'm like, there are 2 references in SpongeBob that I know that I enjoy, and that's it.
See, and I like SpongeBob, but it does kind of ruin the experience. I mean, it's not like I'm going to give up the game, but it makes the game so much more silly. If it never existed, I would have been fine with it, but there'd still be, occasional guys you'd run into, people you'd run into that...
Stupid humans.
Did some arts and crafts project and printed SpongeBob on their card. People have been painting on cards for, probably just as long as the games existed.
Probably.
More interesting if you made him like Squirrel Girl, where he was the world's most powerful character.
I mean, you know what? I would take Squirrel Girl over SpongeBob.
I mean, we're probably going to get Squirrel Girl in one of the upcoming Marvel sets. They're doing Spider-Man this year, and they've said that, they're going to bring in a lot more Marvel stuff. Spider-Man's just touching tip of the iceberg. They're going to probably bring in Avengers later. They're going to bring in the whole Marvel universe.
With great wizard power. comes great wizard
No,
responsibility.
no. Please say that again. Great?
Great.
Great. So what I'm hearing is, much as Rob just said, it's all about the money.
It's all about the money, yeah.
Marvel can bring you money? Yay. Wizards can bring you money? Yeah. All the money? Yeah. And all the poor consumers? Definitely. That's actually kind of why I got out of Magic. I was like, I'm spending way too much money on plastic cards that I don't really get to use that often. So, yeah, I was good.
So with Commander being one of the most popular formats right now, and it's not, tournament heavy because it's a 4-person free-for-all, it's chaotic, it's not a streamlined play like 1v1, it is more casual. So a lot of people at my shop, including myself, were printing cards on paper. Like, if you own a laser printer and you can print in color, that's pretty acceptable.
Really? Interesting.
Now, don't try to go to a tournament like that, and I can't speak for every shop across the country. You'll run into somebody who's like, no. I spent $50 on this piece of cardboard. You're not going to play with your printer paper
Version.
cardstock. Yeah, get out of here.
Yeah, and I like, oh fuck, what was the card from Magic that sold for like almost $1 million or something like that?
So there was the only one of a kind, one ever printed, the One Ring from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, see, I didn't even know they did that.
Okay, that one Post Malone bought for $2.5 million.
Wow.
Dear God, no.
But
Yeah.
all of them were deceived, for there was another one.
I believe I've made like a dozen the One Ring, so
God.
call me Sauron.
No. I was thinking maybe it wasn't $1 million. The Seed one from like the original run, like Black Lotus.
I like this. You've said seed. It's a flower.
Yeah.
Black Lotus is the name. So yeah, Black Lotus, one of the most powerful, most iconic cards. That card regularly sells for $10,000 to I think $30,000.
Jesus.
But at that point, you're not buying it to play the game with it because why would you do that? You're buying it as like bragging rights investment piece.
It's a card.
Well, this sounds like when I was a young adult and you'd hear people complaining about having, the famous rookie card. Oh, yeah, I put that one in the spokes of my bicycle. I had that when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Never realizing it was going to one day be valuable.
Yeah, something like that.
You just got to wonder how many people had an Otis Wagner card and did the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In Magic, it's people talking about playing with no sleeves or straight on the asphalt or the concrete. And, you're turning these cards, slapping them together, riffle shuffling. Oh, you put a bent in it. But you didn't care back then because you just cracked it open out of a $4 pack, and you can't imagine.
Well, if I had a time machine, one of the things I'd be doing is go to the 1930s and buying complete boxes of comic books and baseball cards. That kind of thing. I would just take packs of that stuff back through the time with me, fresh, unopened.
And then suddenly you're a millionaire.
Yeah.
It's like, so, Shockdoc, how did you make your money? It just took time, that's all. Just took some time.
The problem is getting era-appropriate cash to take with you. Because you don't want to show up with Kennedy dimes.
I'd never even thought about that, but you need the era-appropriate money.
Yep.
I can't just go there with my card and like, here, charge it.
Where do I tap?
What do you mean you have to write a check? What's a check? All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. All right. So, anything else with Magic, good sir? Any further knowledge that you can impart upon us with this game that I can't do an acronym for anymore?
Any other knowledge? I still think it's a good game. It's still fun to play. I'm not a poker guy, but I still get to sit around with the guys, shoot the shit, play cards. Still fun.
Are you smoking stogies with people while you're playing Magic the Gathering?
Not quite. There's kids in the building.
Depending on where you're at, that doesn't matter.
Well, I didn't bring enough to share, and they look down on that.
All right. So, this is something actually Thief put this in the rundown.
What?
Yeah, and then he's not even on the episode. Can you believe that guy?
Tacky. Very tacky.
Very tacky. But I did watch the video. It's for a video game called No Mercy. And Who? So it's what's called a visual novel game. I play a lot of these. Most of them are kind of basically male power fantasy. Hey, you get all the girls and, you win the day and all that. Yeah, I have a type that I like. Oh, I want to be that guy. I want to be that male power fantasy sometimes. This game, though, got pulled off of Steam within a day. Because the premise of the game is basically you are getting revenge on your mother. And we're just going to say R word is very heavily used in this. Yeah. No. That's kind of like... I get people have ideas. And, hey, this will sell. That means somebody had to think of this, write it out, program it, market it. So, and at no point did anybody say, this is a bad idea.
Well, there's a market for everything.
There shouldn't be a market for that.
Well, I know.
I'm just like, and then apparently because of Steam pulling it off so quickly, it got another resurgence of people buying it via other means.
Yeah, it becomes known.
But still, what?
Yeah, no, I don't get why someone would be interested in creating a video game that's about sexual assault. I also don't get why anyone would create a video game about car theft. Not that those two things are equated. By
I don't think those are quite
no.
same.
But but obviously there is a subset of the population that, I mean, there's enough stepbrother, stepsister, stepmother porn in the world that there's apparently a demand. And if there's a demand, someone will fill it. You can say that about drugs and prostitution and, any other number of things that society frequently looks down on. I'm with you. It should not be on a major platform. It should not be where your 14-year-old could maybe, slip through the adult filter and download it. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And, if you are downloading it, really think about your life and your choices.
Please.
Because,
please
it's not just sexual assault. It's an incest, forgot the word I'm looking to use. In any event, it implies that there's an incestuous aspect to this, and there's a violence aspect to this, and there's a rape aspect to this. It's horrific sounding.
Yeah.
But then there are horrific people that, so.
And my thing is, the people that play it, I can't say that they're all horrible people because I don't know them. They may just be like, oh, that sounds interesting. Let me check it out just for shits and giggles. But the fact that you're putting money behind it, because it's not a free game. You have to pay for this game. Yeah. The fact that you are putting money behind this means, oh, hey, I'm getting money. I guess I can make another one just like this and make money still. And that's just going to put more on the market. And me personally, I just can't get behind that.
Well, right now, having this conversation, there are people that will discover this thing exists that wouldn't know about it otherwise. So basically,
I'm perpetuating the problem.
There's an aspect of that, sure, of course. And I know that's not your intention. Your intention is to warn people, but that just gets it to more ears.
I now feel like I need to just scrap the entire episode. Hey, let's start over, 100%. We'll just go out for the whole new thing. No, we're not going to do that. No.
Well, and we hear about this, and if this has some measure of success, there'll be clones. Once the people know that there's a market, there'll always be some version of it available somewhere.
Right.
I mean, white supremacist groups are popular, and what the fuck, man?
I don't think I've ever gotten a invite to any of those.
I don't get it. You're a very personable individual, Cap.
But your question about, like, how does this get through, I think that even goes back to the movies. Like, think about, you've watched a commercial, a TV show, a movie, and you're like, that was dumb. But you're like, someone took the time to write that. They probably shared it with people who thought it was a good idea. It went to a producer and director who thought it was a good idea. It went to studio heads who thought, yeah, that's a great idea. Let's fund that. I mean, there's so many levels where someone should have said, no.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I didn't look at the background of the game. This doesn't look like a big AAA title where the point of it is to make massive amounts of money, but it's somebody's fun, with quotes, project. Maybe it's a passion project. Maybe it's their way of expressing themselves.
Okay, here's my thing though. At some point, he had to get it out there into the world, which means he had to go through some sort of check to say, hey, is this game, does it meet our guidelines to go out on our server, on our platform, to say, hey, yes, you can play it on this. And nobody in that said no?
Well, I mean, Steam did kind of a follow-up. Steve,
well,
yeah.
I like Steve's
Steam,
but also
pulled it
also,
at request. So I mean, that was kind of their vetting process.
Isn't Steam just a platform for third parties? Ultimately, right?
It is, okay. But they still have their own vetting process to say.
Well, they do, but also until you face the, oh, hey, by the way, should we put the rapey game out? Well, I don't know. We've never had one before. Until you've dealt with that, maybe there are rules in place. Because, for every law and every rule, there was a problem. So, moving forward, now there will be a new standard, possibly. Mm-hmm. Or, somebody can make the decision, well, it says it's an adult title. These are adults. They get to make their own goddamn choices.
Okay. I think I've had my fill of that particular.
But it does leave a bad taste in your mouth, doesn't it?
Very much so. Very much so. So, let's see. What else we got on this rundown here? So, we had... excuse me. I did find a story, but with just some humorous BDSM humor, like little lines about being into kink at middle age. One of the ones I remember is, yes, you've been a very bad girl. Go give me my TV remote. We're going to watch the news right now.
I remember middle age.
Look, Shock. I don't need your old timey knowledge right now. So since that ended up being behind a paywall and I couldn't get it to everybody, I went out and asked the masses. Thank you, masses from FetLife that actually follow the Gotham Press FetLife account. That's the Gotham Press on FetLife.com. All right, so listeners, I asked, does anybody have any funny stories from kink or BDSM that we can share on the podcast? Like I even put in a couple of my own. The one time where I was using a crop on the bottom and her ass broke my crop. To this, for a very long time, she said that I broke my own crop, but I knew better. It was her ass. And then the time that I was using a flogger and it literally broke mid-swing. So we have a message from Bratty Bookish Baby. Hers says, my room is full of pink and children's toys and plushies and other cute things. My landlord had a contractor come over to work on something, and they must have been talking about my room because the next time I speak with my landlord, he says, you don't have kids, right? I knew immediately, but said, of course not, blah, blah, blah. And he tells me the contractor was absolutely sure that we had a child or a little girl's room. Sir, that's my room. Let's see here. We have one from Beachy Cheeks. When I had one of my employees over to do some home improvement things, I have one big ass cross on my and I have a big ass cross on my room in my room with the flogger hanging from it. Having to look at him in the eye and tell him that people at work don't need to know about this. I never even thought about that. Like, you just invite somebody over from work. It's like, yeah, you didn't see this, right? God. Let's see here. You know what? Mr. Camera?
Yeah.
I want to have you read this one. At the top there. Make sure you're in close so she can hear your voice very good.
Okay, this is from Stage Toy. Probably when the professional organizer we paid to help us get our apartment in order before it was born. We're calling a child it. Before it was born,
they gave birth to it.
Yeah. Before it was born, asked, what's that? And pointed at the cuffs hanging from our bed. We had a bed frame without a headboard, so we had a set of ankle and wrist cuffs that ran underneath the mattress. And Stage Toy says, I think my face went bright red, and I just told her that they belonged where they go. About 20 minutes later, she goes, oh, that's what those are, to herself. I remember the home organizer also wanting to look in every drawer in our house.
Really?
She's like, making sure we're getting rid of the clutter. You can't hide the clutter. You got to have everything in its place. If you got an old shirt with a hole, look at every shirt. And, kind of like the Marie Kondo thing, like, does this spark joy? And we had to insist that we can go through our nightstand drawers ourselves. This was also taking place in Utah. So, she was a member of the LDS church, and,
Well, in Utah, you pretty much assume
lady.
any person you deal with is a member of the LDS church, right?
I've never been to Utah to know. Oh, God.
But we had to tell her that, that's part of the bed frame. That goes there. It supports, keeps the bed in place. I forget what we said.
It restrains the bed to itself.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I think we only got those few this time, but still, I love the fact it's like this is where it needs to be. That's exactly. How about you guys? Any funny stories that you can think of from your illustrious history in kink?
Well, I know that I've made a few things, and my memory is foggy, but I think it might have been Shock who gave me this advice. But the first time I really went and bought stuff was at the hardware store, and the female lady checking me out, she's like, "Hey, so what are you making?" And it was something for a type of a flogger, but do I say that? So I quickly came up with the excuse of, I just played stupid, which it was passable for sure. And then you just go, my wife is making some kind of wedding table decoration things. I don't know. I just had to buy the stuff. She's like, oh, okay. And then I was telling that story. People were like, no, you should ask them. Say, hey, do you want to know? Do you really want to know? So one time I was at Michael's getting some stuff. And the lady's like, what are you making? And so in my mind real quick, I go through the previous hardware story. Do I go with that? Or do I go with the suggestion of asking, so I went with the, do you want to know? Yeah. Do you really want to know? Yeah. And I think later she didn't really want to know. But they were going to be like pommels for a flogger. And she's like, okay. So what do people usually buy these for? She goes, fishing lures.
You are trying to attract something.
Right?
Must have been feathers.
Wait, do you remember the approximate age of this person that you were telling this to? Like older, younger?
I don't know. I'd say 30-ish.
Oh, well, she was old enough to know.
Yeah.
See, I was going to say, depending on who I'm checking out with, am I going to scar some, 18-year-old, or am I going to, just be sharing some information with, some 40-something?
My personal precaution is don't ask questions you don't really want to know the answer to.
Mm-hmm. As our new audience member that came in mid-recording is sitting there nodding profusely to all of this.
And that's why, like, the suggestion came, I asked twice, do you really want to know? Yes. Do you really, really want to know? But I gave them two options to opt out.
You tried.
They were an adult. They made choices.
Right.
You made her day a little bit more exciting.
She has a story to tell.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's told many stories. Do not let this man back in the store. He's dangerous.
Well, they don't sell these in the store anymore, so I don't know if that's a direct situation.
So you're the guy.
Maybe.
Now you're the reason why nobody can get their pommel handled.
Right?
Oh, okay. Shock, any stories from your history?
You should have told me this was going to be the thing. I would have done a little more preparation. I can't come up with anything at the moment.
It's okay. I understand you've got many years, and there's a lot that goes on in that area of yours.
I've certainly been in numerous situations where what you had wanted to be serious and focused had a mishap, and then the two of you end up cracking up.
Oh, yeah.
So, taking those things in stride, and, laughter is good for us.
Laughter is good for you. Cam, anything from you?
Gosh, I'm trying to think. On the way here, we're like walking out the door. Somebody asked me, where are you going? What are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to go record an adult podcast. And they're like, liar.
Is this an adult podcast? I thought it was just a bunch of nerdy fucks.
Are you going to let children listen to it? Should children listen to it? No, it's an adult podcast.
I'm not going to let the children listen to it.
Okay.
I can't say what the internet's going to do, but I'm not going to.
Warning. This is an adult podcast.
We have that warning at the beginning of every episode.
Do you have any age verification? At least better than Steam?
Man, my phone looks cool. I'm a terrible person. I know.
At least you're not behind a paywall.
Hey, those of you that are listening to this, if you are not of age, first of all, why are you listening this far in? Secondly, please make better decisions. That is are you shaking your head? The audience is shaking their head at me. Okay, I guess the audience won't make better decisions. All right. So also, I look for a few suggestions for some things, for some good kink topics for this episode, because the internet has been failing me in recent times. When I searched for a good kink topic, the only thing I found was a story about a former football player who is being sued. But the big thing on the article is they had over 100 BDSM related sex scenes, and that was it. It's like that has nothing to do with
Sued by who?
The player's being sued by a former lover.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like, why does that even factor in?
Clickbait.
Yeah, clickbait. All right, so actually, got quite a few from Brad Steele, who gave some suggestions. Let's see here.
Well, before we move on, I just a point. You know, there's something about when you talk about from what I always learn, and I initially had not thought that writing this stuff down and signing it actually would make a legal difference, but I think it does. And
wait, what are we talking about?
Like when you get into kink play with people,
yeah.
Right? And we write this stuff down and maybe you say the agreements and
like contracts and stuff.
Some kind of a contract.
Okay, gotcha. Negotiations, yeah.
Let's go to to me that pops out is the Trevor Bauer case. If you don't know him, he was a Dodgers pitcher accused of assault, and he was acquitted. Even though he's kind of lost his pro career, he plays pro, but not in major leagues again. They found the text messages from this lady to her friends saying, and to him saying, "Hey, I want you to choke me out. I want you to do these things." And the judge said, "Look, you gave him permission to. You can't tell someone to do this to you, and they get mad when they do this to you."
Okay, so I get that, but also my understanding was that you cannot give consent to something that is going to be life-threatening, in theory.
You know, I always thought that too, but he won the case.
Oh, well, shit. Hey, apparently, God, I am so sorry for saying this. Apparently, there are shades of gray in that.
Yeah.
One or two, or well, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
but
we won't go much higher than that.
That's right.
All right.
Well, you know,
go for it.
The point I'll make on that particular topic is the fantasy you read online, the stories that people tell, the maybe the videos you watch. Until you experience these things, that's all they are, is fantasies. And the reality of some of these things can be drastically different in a moment. And, you know, as those of us that have taught for any period of time and taught multiple people, not everybody is in the headspace for everything every time. Something that with one particular headspace, one particular, in some aspects, one particular time of the month, one particular situation, 3 weeks later, a month later, 4 months later, different partner, different headspace, different day at work. These things can affect the outcome of a scene. So, you know, it's the fantasy versus reality. It's one reason why we recommend people take their time. You know, don't try to do everything immediately. Don't try to go super hardcore until you've experienced something more in the mid-range, you know.
Beware of frenzy.
Yeah, beware of frenzy. That's true. And beware of a smooth talker who seems to know everything until you've given them your trust, and now you find out they don't really.
Shock, you have so much wisdom.
Sure.
Shock, you have so many years of experience.
That I do.
That you do. That you do. Here, let's move forward a little bit. Okay, so suggestions from those listeners and people that follow us on FetLife. Respecting others' dynamics in public spaces. So, have any of you ever encountered something where something happened in a public space that you knew shouldn't have been happening that was kink related?
Well, in the relationship dynamic aspect, of course, where, at an event, you have a lot of people, one particular couple or group of people is in one particular kind of higher end dynamic than just the casual people milling around and conversing. And sometimes in that situation, I know Master Bear used to talk about this, where his slave is approached by somebody that just wants a hug and, oh yeah, come on, get on in here and give me a hug. And, but no, you didn't ask the top. You didn't consider the dynamic. You overstepped your bounds in asking them for something that was not within their protocol, and then they didn't know what to do. So that's where I kind of see those parallels to relationship dynamic, is making the assumption that everybody's in the same particular dynamic space that you are, just because you're all gathered together.
Yeah, no, that's a problem.
And see, to me, just from hearing that, I know there's been a couple issues where maybe people were just at the beach and doing pony play, where they
I was like, did you say at the beach and doing pony play?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, somewhere where it's out in public. It wasn't a kink event. It was just out in the public where everyday people are going to go who probably are not expecting to see something like that.
Rob, what have you seen out on the beach?
I don't go there too often, but usually it's me bright red at the end of the day.
I do remember meeting an individual, and via online, I'd known his partner for a couple of years, right? And it was our first in-face meeting with her and a bunch of other people we'd been talking to. It was the late 90s. In any event,
the late 90s.
Her latest dom.
Hold on, real quick, shot. You have to say it properly. It was last century.
I'm from the 1900s. Give me a break. In any event, so her dom comes in the second day of the event, right? Mm-hmm. And when they arrived, he's bragging about when he got off the airplane and met her, he goes ahead and collars her and chains her and leads her around the airport on a leash.
I'm sorry, around the airport?
Around the airport on a leash, which
there is security at the airport, right?
That was 25 fucking years ago. I felt that was too much then, but I still feel that's too much now.
That's
it's a little too direct in front of people that didn't consent to that. That's the problem,
right?
That I have with it personally.
No, I completely understand and agree with that. Yeah, I understand. Any thoughts, Cam?
Gosh, see, I'm thinking I'm one of the newer people in the community. I just always try to be respectful. I mean, if I go up and talk to somebody or engage in a hug like that and somebody else says, hey, back off, then I'll back off and be like, oh, yeah, sorry, I wasn't aware there was a dynamic I need to respect. Forgive me, I'll remember in the future.
See, that is the correct way to do it.
Okay, good. I'm doing things the correct way. Yes, nice.
You are becoming the example. Well done. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah. So the important thing for that, people, respect other people's dynamics.
Or at least consider that they may not be in the same dynamic place that you are.
True.
Right. So making the assumption that everybody is as casual about such things as you are, it can lead to where the problems are.
Yeah. See, another thing, and we talk about this every time we do orientation, and probably multiple times sometimes. Don't take pictures of people. Mm-mm. Don't just randomly, like, hey, I'm at this party, I'm just going to take this picture that has this person and 3 other people in the background. You got to be careful of that shit. That can drastically affect people's lives and livelihoods. Any examples of that from any of you? Not taking pictures yourselves, obviously, but situations where you see like, oh, hey, that camera shouldn't be out right now.
Yeah, well, I have, of course, seen people post photos, mm-hmm. right? Oh, from the event. And then I look and go, send them a message and go, hey, you might want to talk to the person or the 2 people standing behind you that are clearly visible in that photo before you post that. Which, at that point, it's too late. It's already posted, but, it can be taken down, and that minimizes the damage.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think so many different groups I know of, the chat groups in this are pretty good about really instilling that I haven't seen it to be too big of an issue. I have the opposite problem. I'll do stuff and I'll like, shit, I should have took a picture. Next time.
It's like I have to remember to take these pictures for posterity and to show off.
We speak of Carmilla the First.
Yes.
I took a bunch of photos of her one time, impromptu, in the dungeon in a gorgeous outfit. But even though technically the party had started, there was nobody else in the dungeon.
Right.
And she's like, hey, can you grab a picture of me? Absolutely. There's nobody in there whose privacy you're going to violate. Put her on a spanking bench, or set her up on a spanking bench looking super sexy and gorgeous in a beautiful retro dress, and snap half a dozen pictures and send them to her. And, but not in the middle of a scene where 3 or 4 other people are scening,
right,
and you just whip the camera out. That's absolute violation of people's trust.
That is a mood killer, 100%.
That is a mood killer.
That is, hey, lights go up. Hey, we're just no, party's over for the night because this fucker just couldn't keep his phone in his pants.
Well, and it's also how you destroy your reputation within a community.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here. What else we got here in this fine dandy list? The thing that I keep asking or looking into. One day I'll do it. High protocol. What is it, and how? Yes, audience member who's raising their hand. Did you want to pop in on this? No, just happy about it. Okay, so the audience is happy about high protocol and find out what it is. Any thoughts from any of you gentlemen?
Is that protocol for when you're high? Is that Robert Rules of Order? Do you need to second a motion to swat somebody? Is that the motion? I don't know.
The motion carries. We're all high.
Not exactly.
I'm unfamiliar with high protocol.
All right, so
I have the munchies. Do I have permission to snack?
Well, and in taking him at his word, it's the kind of thing you typically see more in leather-focused communities as opposed to general kink communities, as we are here, where the master-slave dynamic is promoted and taught and given an extra special reverence sort of situation. And then you're much more common to stumble onto people that are in high protocol mode. A lot of people will, oh man, we should have high protocol events. Okay, you host it. Oh yeah, but I'm so busy.
Shock, I don't appreciate the fact you looked directly at me when you said that. Because I've been saying I would love to, but again, I'm so busy hosting a lot of other things, Shock.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I bet you don't. But yeah, I've been saying for a while.
In high protocol, it depends on your relationship. It's like everything. These are general references that kind of give you a ballpark idea of what that is. But what it really is, the details of it is, what did you negotiate with your partner and or partners? What was the expectation when the two of you started this relationship as to what low protocol, medium protocol, high protocol would be?
Right.
Yeah.
Did you even suggest that there would be different protocols for different things? That sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Because much like Cammy thought the high protocol was getting high.
Well, we have certainly had high protocol events, and they would have super tiny amounts of attendance.
Yeah, because I don't know why. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I will have a high protocol event that I throw and go to. And it's like, yes, this is amazing. And I'll have 2 people show up.
Well, probably if you were in a dynamic with a submissive where you had that kind of relationship.
Well, that obviously, yes.
Yeah, that makes it much more appealing to then have, one of the great examples of that you'll see in the Valley is having a high tea.
Yes.
High tea is considered a high protocol
Which
event.
are the only high protocol events that I've actively been to.
Right.
It's like, okay, yeah, these are great. These are amazing. Why don't we have something else other than just tea in the afternoon?
Right.
Yeah.
So I think the cigar and maybe a whiskey type meeting too, where you have somebody doting on you, lighting the cigar, bringing you the whiskey, snacks, something like that, I think would fit. If you're at a regular play party though, then I think at least ours, I mean, I've been to our sister group in Fresno, but I haven't been out too far. So that's maybe some limited experience, but that they're a little less, not that you can't be high protocol there, but I think just maybe the nature of that event doesn't quite lead itself so much as to high protocol. If everybody was high protocol, it would be kind of.
It'd be a different event.
Yeah,
it'd be a different event at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I know that I think it's next month or maybe in a couple months. One of the other groups in town, they're having a high protocol event, and I was like, "Oh, I would like to go to that." And I messaged them, to RSVP to it, and the person that's hosting is like, "I get it. Not, I would love for you to come, but do you have somebody that you're coming with?" I'm like, "I don't." Well, can't let you go to it without having somebody that that is going to be your person for that.
Someone that's in your service.
Right. So it was one of those things that at the time I was like, well, I don't have anybody. Let me see what I can work out. So yeah, fun times there. But again, I figured I'll get it. I'll make it happen.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. I know that we've talked about this one on the podcast before, but it's never a bad thing to talk about what to do when a scene goes wrong.
My first piece of advice is put your fucking ego away.
Yes.
I don't care, and I've said this before, I don't care if you've planned this all week, I don't care if you planned this all month. Now that you're in the moment and something's gone wrong, don't put pressure on people to follow through. Deal with what's happened and deal with your person and give them the space to fall apart or be cared for, and put the scene aside and do not try to immediately get right back into it unless it's something they desperately want to do.
Yeah, you don't have to be kinky in that moment. You have to be a person in that moment.
Yeah. That's my advice.
I mean, I think you said it perfectly.
I thought you were going to say you never had anything go wrong.
No, and I think, immediately, my first thing was thinking about, if somehow they're hurt, cut, bleeding, something that you need to be taking of.
First aid kind of situations. Yeah.
But taking care of them, that still, I think, falls right into that. But like you said, too, there are other things that could certainly go wrong in a scene. And one of our rules is don't break your toys, right?
Yeah.
So look out for your toys, and then, like I said, put your ego aside, and if somehow a boundary was crossed, analyze why, and have that discussion. If it's something where someone needs to be cared for, care for them, take care of it.
Well, if boundaries are crossed, is that a communication issue or is that a lack of respect for boundaries? Because, people can have boundaries they didn't communicate accurately, and once you discovered you pushed it too far or you crossed that boundary, giving them the absolute respect of that'll basically never happen again. Yeah. I did not realize, that our communication maybe broke down. I wasn't attempting to push that particular button. That's the situation where I've dealt with more than anything else, is that someone wants to experience something. And in the moment of experiencing it, the thing that they've asked for produces a trigger. And now you get a bit of an anxiety attack or a panic mode. And at that point, it is just about keeping them comfortable as much as possible.
And you're right. There's, and that's one thing I think. And yes, for those who know me, I'm also in a different lifestyle. I swing, and I'm glad I started in this one first. And you learned so much more about consent and talking about different things. And that's where, as I've seen this in both lifestyles, where if somebody says something, and let's put an example of, if you're going to say, hey, let's bake a cake. One person's version of a cake might be a single layer cake with some canned frosting. Another person's version of, when you say cake, they're envisioning a 3-tiered thing with all kinds of fancy stuff and cream centers in the middle. And so if you say, hey, let's try this kink out, what it means to me and what it means to them may be totally different things. And so when I'm doing what I think it is, they're like, all of a sudden they're like, hey, that's not what but you got to have those discussions. And no, you can't cover every single what if ever, but you can cover enough if you've had those discussions of, this is what I'll ask if someone says through a sub, what does that mean to you? I can Google it. I know what other people said being a sub means to them, but I'm not playing with them. I'm playing with you.
That's a very good point.
I need to know what you envision yourself as, and what does that mean to you? And I think when you have those deeper conversations first, then you get a lot less of the, oops, well, this is what I thought you meant versus what you thought you meant.
Hey, baby, wink, wink, nod, nod. Oh, we're all on the same page, aren't we?
Yeah.
Are we, though?
I don't know what your wink, wink, and nod, nod mean, Shock.
Exactly.
I know what mine do, but I don't know what yours mean.
On his point, I will tell you, I'm very fond of cream in the middle. That's all I'm saying. Very fond of it.
I would never have thought that about you, Shock. But never figured that you would be into, cream in the middle like that.
Yeah.
Any thoughts,
An
Ken?
input as the low experience voice, I don't think I can say I've had a scene go wrong on me yet, but I mean, I agree with you wholeheartedly. You need to stop. You need to make sure you're considering them as a person, respecting them. Yeah.
Well, when things go wrong in a scene a bottom is asked for and they've looked forward to and they've fantasized about, and now something is going wrong in that scene, they'll put a lot of pressure on themselves to push through that despite what it may be costing them emotionally.
Yeah, don't do that.
And it is really giving them the space to go, we need to stop. Come on, let's just stop. We got next month. We got next weekend. We'll take another run at this once we've had time to decompress and to sort of walk back through what happened so that we're all on the same page. But yeah, it's not just the top pushing someone to finish the scene. Oftentimes it's themselves feeling like, I'm letting that person down. I should be able to take more, whatever that is.
Yeah, got to really reassure them that no, not letting anybody down.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. No, not upset. No, not upset that the scene didn't happen. But that's the scene. That can be redone. I'm not upset with you as a person, all these things.
Oh, I wouldn't even communicate that I'm upset that the thing fell through. It's like, screw it. That's not the important thing.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yes. Listeners, your captain has said something wrong. He doesn't do that very often. I know you're all very, very traumatized by this. I won't let it happen again. I will never misspeak in the future. I can't lie like that. Yeah, I'm going to misspeak a lot, but I will call myself out on it as best I can. And that happens in kink as well. You'll misspeak on a lot of things. And if that happens, just own it. Apologize. Do your best to make restitution for whatever happened or what was said, and move forward as best you can.
Well, and communicate. That's really the end goal, is to communicate what exactly went wrong and how can we prevent that in the future, that kind of thing. But within your kink community, within your kink dating, your reputation will depend and either grow or fall on how did you deal with when something went wrong.
I'm sorry, should I do say kink dating? I thought it was just Dom meets bottom and suddenly they're in a full-on relationship. There's no dating there.
Not that I haven't seen plenty of that.
Yeah. Take time to get to know the person that you're hoping to be in some sort of dynamic with, please.
Well, give trust out in little increments.
Little increments, yes.
You meet a complete stranger, they're cute, you're cute. Yeah, absolutely, let's do this thing. Well, let's do the softer version at this time. And let's see if you'll stick to those boundaries. Let's see how you'll deal with me doing this thing to you. And then next time, maybe we talk about it and we go, oh, yeah, no, let's turn that notch up. Sure, hell yeah. But, give them little increments of trust and then see if they live up to that trust.
Right. And this kind of goes along with this. One of the other questions that was asked, it's specifically asking about nerve damage and rope, but more so just like medical conditions when you're playing in general. Make sure that you don't have to get the full medical history, but it helps to have at least the highlights of, hey, this is a thing that may be going on.
Well, it can also depend on what you're planning to do.
True.
If I have somebody asking for a heavy flogging, well, do you have any spinal or hip issues? Do you have problems with your lower back? Is this a thing if I pull out the buffalo hide and really pull that thing back? Are you going to be, the unfortunate kind of walking funny for 2 or 3 days?
The unfortunate kind of walking funny.
Do you have a history of these problems that I should take into consideration before I move to, this other level or this other intensity?
Rob? Nothing?
It's hard to expand upon that.
Your hand can take them all, huh?
Well, and that's one thing. Especially if I'm starting with somebody new, I check in a lot, and I know there's
wait. What's a lot for you?
Smack, you okay? Smack, you okay? Smack, you okay?
It's not that far off. I may go 5. How you doing? A little harder, feel a little better.
Yeah.
Maybe another 5 or 10. How you doing? Feeling all right. And for people who are new into an impact, my advice to begin is when you feeling good, probably a good time to stop, because it's my example of. I know there's people shaking their head disagreeing with me, but
Someone screaming at home into their, not into the radio. No, it's screaming.
Yeah. And my example is like, if you don't go to the gym and you say, I'm going to go to the gym today, and you go and you work out really hard and you get home next day and you can't move. You felt great when you were working out, but it's that after part that gets you. And it's, yes, working out's not bad, but maybe you didn't need to do 5 sets of 20 on 15 different exercises. Start out with 1 set. And like I said, Shock said, we spank a little bit, right? How you feel a little bit later? Hey, next time you could have took more. Great, we'll go a little harder next time. But you don't want to go where you're overdone and you're hurting and things like that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I know. I wasn't one in the scene, but I was told this after the fact. Basically, the top, who's a newer top, and they were like that, checking in pretty much after every 1 or 2 hits, and it's like all of a sudden they're. At one point, they just like, next time they checked in, they kind of pulled them close. If you don't stop checking in on me and just do this scene.
Yeah. Well, there is a risk of being too clinical, right? Because you're here, if you're at a party and you're giving someone an experience, you want them to the world should fade away, right? If it's too much like a classroom or a medical exam, then you start to lose some of that. But, you and I have done plenty of tastings, right? So we have brand new people that with completely unmarked skin, have never experienced a flogger, never experienced a real spanking, and put them on the table. And what we're doing is...
No. Point of order.
Mm-hmm.
A real spanking? What is a real spanking?
It's not an imaginary spanking.
It wasn't between 2 pages of a book being given out by a werewolf with a big naughty penis. Does that answer your question?
Close enough.
Okay.
Speaking of which, I was listening to a different podcast where they talked about that. It's such a huge thing of people wanting to have sex with all kinds of different monsters and giant things, and it was. And I know they make toys like that, but we're people like that's the whole fantasy. And they did bring up like an octopus could be really cool because got tentacles. I mean, you could have different things stimulated, but
old school anime.
Yeah.
Yep. Old school hentai, yes.
But,
right.
in those situations, we are giving people some physical stimulation, and then we're going to check. Because if they're brand new, maybe they don't realize they're allowed to give feedback. Maybe they don't realize they're allowed to go, I don't like that. So one thing about us being proactive with requesting that feedback is letting them at least know it's okay to tell me this. It's okay to tell me to back off or not there. Let's try that. Give me some information, as opposed to me just beating you and later on you going, well, I didn't enjoy that at all.
And then why didn't you say something in the time? Well, you didn't give me the chance to say something. It's a whole thing that happens.
Yeah. Well, you can't assume everyone knows that it's okay to express themselves. We in orientation, right? Mm-hmm. We tell people that when someone tells you no, listen to them. That's all they needed to tell you was no. Also, it's your power word. It's your ability to tell people no that should also be respected.
Correct.
Yeah. And I've had the experience, and this kind of gets back to what I was saying earlier, is like a word can have different meanings for different people. And I had someone tell me, I love a good hard spanking. So we warmed up, checked in a little harder, and she's like, ooh, my ass is on fire. That to her, that was a good hard spanking.
Yeah.
To me, I'm like, all right, we went like 25% power. Right? But that's okay. This wasn't about me. This was about giving her the experience. Right. But again, that's where initially my version of a good hard spanking didn't meet what she had envisioned as a good hard spanking.
So you say that, and in my head, I went to one of Raul Julia's greatest lines ever in a terrible movie, the Street Fighter movie. So when M. Bison came to your village, it was the most memorable day of your life. For me, it was a Tuesday.
You killed my father. Do you have any idea how many people you could be referring to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey Cam, what experiences do you have in the world?
What experiences do I have in the world?
In the world of kink or swinging or any of those?
You
Pretty
just asked
broad
me all-
question,
that-
Cap.
Yeah, that's a broad question.
It is a very
Thank
broad
you.
question, yes. And
He's asking about how many broads you've had.
Yeah, there we go.
no, I wasn't asking that. No, if you have a number. No, just
You want me
fucking
to
around.
start singing Mambo number 5? Yeah?
Can you?
No, I can't.
We don't want to get the podcast taken down for what is it?
Copyright
Copyright
infringement.
Trademark,
infringement,
yeah.
It's
Whatever
like,
it is.
sir, we were just singing a song. It was just singing a song, man. I completely lost track of where we were at.
Well,
Isn't that
while
lovely?
you find out, I have a question. Like, so people here, what do you consider kinky? What is kinky to you? Like, as far as acts go, when you say, ooh, that's kinky, what makes something kinky versus non-kinky?
I think I have a decent definition.
Go for it.
What makes you uncomfortable to express that you're into it? What makes you a little nervous to tell somebody, yeah, I would kind of like to fucking try that? I think that for most of us falls into the difference between what we think of as just sexual and kinky.
Okay, I like that answer. I'm going to expound upon it a little bit
Okay,
more.
let's wrap the show up. That was a good one. I think we did really good, guys.
But I was going to say, now, younger me had
Mm-hmm.
lots of those things. Me now, I'm just like, let's do this. And just see what the reaction
Oh,
is.
that goalpost is always moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of, you're not into that. Really? Huh.
I'm thinking, what do you consider kinky? What didn't appear on like a slide in high school sex ed?
Nothing.
There were slides?
Sure, okay, whatever. But
I'm
saying like, intercourse, man, woman. I mean, outside of that, is that kinky? I don't know.
Depends on who you ask, what state you're in, what city you're in, what time of the day it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a different
That's a
answer for
goalpost
that.
moving, yeah.
Everybody's got a different answer for that. And I think, not to re-hype my own point, but it's that thing that you'll openly admit that you do or that thing that you hesitantly admit that you'd like to try. I think that falls into that. That's a pretty good bellwether for that.
I like how it admits you, like, try not admit that you've done several times already, but just want to try sometime. Just gotta test those waters a little bit. See who exactly perks their eyes perk up a little bit when you say the words.
And for some of us, the sex ed talk was an actual movie where their teacher actually had to go get the projector from the TV room and bring it in and actually put the film reel and run it through. And it was like, boys and girls, sometimes you made it. As the film jumped,
No,
you may have strange feelings for people.
Mine was a VHS tape, so. But the years have moved past. Yeah.
But I'm saying stuff that's pretty benign in the community didn't show up in that at all. I mean, spanking, most of us are like, it's not a big deal. But,
Yeah.
I mean, again, kink for different people.
Yeah. Well, also, people come in, it's like, spanking, what did I do wrong? Yeah. What do you mean you're going to tie me up? No.
I believe we have a listener suggestion on this.
Oh, do we? I should check the list and see what the suggestion is.
Those that are getting the early release version of this podcast have, I believe, sent some suggestions.
They probably have.
And for reference, my version of kink is anything I won't do. That's kink.
There we go. Here we go. So
Being the slut is anyone that won't fuck me, right?
I love this answer to the question. It's anything that will make middle-aged white women at a dildo party clutch their pearls and say they're going to pray for you. Also, why is this middle-aged white woman at a dildo party?
Maybe it's like one of those toy parties where you think that the lady invites her friends, not knowing the friends are way kinkier and have way crazier toys, but they're check out this lube. It smells like whatever.
Let's not derail this into a pyramid scheme conversation, but yeah.
Yeah, let's not do that. All right. Also, let's go ahead and I think we're gonna probably close this up here real quick. Mostly because my computer just said, "Hey, your battery's low," even though it's plugged in. So that's fun. So anyway, hey Rob.
Yes.
Well, you're looking at your phone. Never mind. Hey, Shock. Any final thoughts?
Oh yeah, hold on. No, I think we made some good points today, and I'm very much looking forward to Thunderbolts.
Yeah, when you see Thunderbolts, please call me. Let me know your thoughts on it.
Absolutely, will do.
I appreciate that. Cam, as a first timer, thoughts, feelings? Never doing this again. Running far away as quick as you can.
I was raised to never talk about my feelings. I'm sorry. I just bottle it up, and someday I'll explode.
So you're American.
Yeah,
An American male.
American
specific.
male. Yes. I'm gonna go watch Thunderbolts probably, eventually.
I again also recommend that. Rob, final thoughts?
I will eventually also go see Thunderbolt. I said on it, I didn't know it was out, but and I don't know and that's one of those. I can just go see the movie, and I don't have to know the whole backstory. I can just enjoy the movie for the movie. So I'll go watch it, and I'm sure have a good time. And I guess we could leave with treat your bottoms well.
Treat your bottoms well.
Communication.
These important things. And this is your captain giving his sign off here. Thank you all for listening once again. Did I really just do the sign off thing with my hand, even though nobody can see me?
You sent a salute out to the universe.
I did.
That's right.
Hey, listeners, thank you once again for hanging out with the Gotham Press podcast. Whatever you're doing, have a great time. Get consent to do it. Make sure your partner is having a good time, too. Check on them. And, yeah, we'll see you next month. Have a great one.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.